A dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. Everyone knows this. Almost nobody applies it to the decisions that actually matter. The time value of money is usually taught as a finance formula: present value, future value, discount rates. But that misses the point. The real insight is this: anything that compounds becomes radically more valuable the earlier you start. This video is about applying that insight beyond your investment account, to your career, to your skills, to the invisible taxes you pay every day by waiting. By the end, you will see opportunity costs you have been blind to, and you will know how to stop paying them. Here is the core insight, stripped down. Resources deployed now have more time to compound than resources deployed later. For money, this is obvious. $100 invested at 10% becomes $110 after a year. But that extra $10 also earns interest the next year, and the year after. This is exponential growth, and it punishes delay brutally. The numbers are stark. If you invest $500 a month starting at 25, you will have roughly double the retirement savings of someone who starts the exact same contributions at 35. Not slightly more. Double. A Voya financial survey found that 64% of Americans regret not starting to save before age 25. The average person wishes they had started at 23 instead of their actual starting age of 28. But the formula applies far beyond money. Skills compound, relationships compound, reputation compounds, network effects compound. Think about learning a skill at 25 versus 35. Both people might reach the same proficiency, but the person who started earlier has 10 extra years to earn returns on that skill. 10 extra years for that skill to open doors, attract opportunities, and build upon itself. The mental shift is simple but profound. Stop asking, "What does this cost?" Start asking, "What does waiting cost?" Most people optimize careers for immediate salary. This is like optimizing for principal while ignoring the interest rate. The interest rate of your career is how fast you are learning, how fast your network is growing, how fast your reputation builds. 2 jobs might pay the same today, but one puts you on a steeper curve. Consider a concrete choice many young professionals face. You can take a comfortable corporate job at a large company. Solid pay, clear structure, predictable path. Or you can join an early-stage startup at the same salary. Chaotic environment, unclear role, uncertain future. The corporate job feels safer. But look through the compounding lens. At the startup, you might work directly with founders, learn multiple functions, and build a network of ambitious people who will scatter across the industry. The learning curve is steep because you are thrown into problems beyond your experience level. At the large company, you learn one narrow function well. Your network is mostly people in similar roles. The learning curve flattens after a year or two. Richmond Federal Reserve research confirms this intuition. Workers who end up at the top of the earnings distribution have wages that go up steeply as they age, driven by a faster rate of wage increases in their early years. The rich get richer because they invested in learning when it could compound longest. This is why experienced people give the same advice repeatedly. Optimize for learning early. They intuitively understand time value applied to human capital. A year of stagnation at 25 costs more than a year of stagnation at 55 because you have more compounding years ahead. The trap to avoid is the sunk cost fallacy. You spent 4 years training for one career, so you feel obligated to continue. But past investment should not determine future decisions. Those years are already spent. The only relevant question is which path compounds better from today forward. As the NIH Career Office puts it, if a career path is no longer a good fit, cut your sunk cost and walk away. It is okay to make a new decision based on new evidence. Every year you delay investing, you pay a hidden tax in foregone compound returns. Call it the waiting tax. Charles Schwab studied 5 hypothetical investors who each received $2,000 to invest annually from 2005 to 2024. One had perfect timing, investing at each year's lowest point. Another just invested immediately whenever the money arrived. No strategy, no analysis. The perfect timer accumulated $186,000. The immediate investor earned $170,000. The difference was only about $15,000 over 20 years. Near perfection versus no effort at all, and the gap was less than 10%. Now consider someone who waited on the sidelines, trying to find the right moment. Hartford Funds research shows that missing just the market's 10 best days over 30 years would have cut your returns in half. Missing the best 40 days reduced annual returns from 8.4% to nearly zero. The cruel part, 7 of the market's 10 best days occurred within 2 weeks of the 10 worst days. The best days cluster around the worst days. You cannot capture the upside while avoiding the downside. The price of missing the crashes is missing the recoveries. This is where psychology betrays us. Behavioral economists call it present bias, the tendency to overvalue immediate certainty while discounting future gains. In experiments, people prefer $1 today over $3 tomorrow. But give them the same choice a year from now, and they will wait the extra day for the larger amount. Our brains treat the present differently than the future. Not investing feels like the safe position. It is not. It is a decision with a calculable cost. An imperfect investment started now often beats a perfect investment started later. Warren Buffett bought his first stock at age 11. By 16, he had accumulated the equivalent of $53,000 in today's money. His advice was simple: start early. I started building this little snowball at the top of a very long hill. The trick to have a very long hill is either starting very young or living to be very old. Money is not the only thing that compounds. Health does too. The Cardia study has tracked participants since the 1980s. Physical activity in young adulthood reduces hypertension and cardiovascular events decades later. The runs you skip at 25 show up as hospital visits at 65. Relationships compound. The Harvard study of adult development followed people for 85 years, the longest study of adult life ever conducted. The finding that mattered most was not about money or career success or fame. It was this: close relationships at age 50 predicted physical health at age 80 better than cholesterol levels did. Let that sink in. Your friendships at 50 are a better health indicator than your blood work. The people you invest time in today become the support system that keeps you alive later. The time value of money is really the time value of time. The question is not whether you can afford to start. The question is whether you can afford to wait.